Have you heard the term holding space and wondered what the heck does that mean? Holding space? Or maybe you have actually had the experience of someone holding space for you and you could feel the difference. And you want to know, how do you do that for your friends and family? Holding space is a very powerful tool, especially when somebody is going through something really hard, like they just broke up with someone, or they lost their job, or they're trying to make a really big decision and they don't know what to do. Or they're just a really heady and emotional person like myself, and they need to talk it out in order to find clarity. Holding space is a really powerful tool for this. If you have wondered about any of the above, this video is for you. I'm Jessica Maitre of Holistic Maitre, and this is Mastering the Art of Holding Space, 5 Steps to Emotional Support. So what is holding space? Holding space is actually holding the frequency of love for another person. It's deep and intentional listening. And it's being a space of clarity and possibility for another person. So this means releasing or removing your own thoughts, judgments, and opinions about the other person or the situation so that they have the freedom to choose how they move forward. What holding space is not is fixing or solving their issue, situation, their problem. It's not advice or coaching. And it's not a time for agreement or validation. And I'll go into this one a little bit further later in the video. So let's get into the steps of how to hold space for another. And just a little side note, if you are not with this person, if you're doing this over the phone, make sure your attention is 100% on this person. Don't try and do the dishes or organize your underwear drawer. Just stay focused on the conversation. Be 100% present with them. It makes a huge difference, and they will know and they can feel if your energy is diverted someplace else at the same time. Step number 1. Set the intention to remain neutral in a state of love and acceptance for this person and anything they have to say. This can get tricky, and it takes practice for empaths especially. I could do a whole nother video on that, but just for simplicity's sake, just as God loves all his children and all the things that they do, we want to remain in a space of love and acceptance for this person no matter what they say. So not taking it personally, not making it about us, letting this expression that they have be about them and for them in this particular circumstance. Step number 2, place a mirror shield on your energetic body. So we have our physical body, and just outside of our physical body, and a couple of feet all the way around our entire body, is our energetic body. And by being that space of love and acceptance for this other person, we're actually strengthening our energetic boundaries of our own energy. So we want to keep ourselves distinct from them. We want to hold our own energy. And by putting an energetic boundary around ourselves, sort of strengthening up our energetic shield, it helps us to not take on anything from their energy body that is not for us. When we put love and acceptance in the energetic shield, then it only allows love to come in and love to go out. So the next step of this is then to imagine the outside of your energetic shield being covered in a see-through mirror-like film. You know those mirrors that are see-through, but they're a reflection on one side, but you can see through them? So you can either do that. I encourage you to imagine your energetic boundary shielded with a mirror. And if that's harder for you to imagine, you can just imagine holding up a piece of a mirror in front of you that is see-through on your side and has a mirror edge on the other side. This is the magic of this type of holding space conversation, because even though you are there with them, you are witnessing them, your energy body is receiving them, the real magic comes from them getting reflected to themselves. So them seeing themselves, them getting themselves, that is the real juice of these types of conversations. That is where a lot of really deep healing happens, is in that part of the process. So this is really important, and remaining neutral really is what is creating the mirror. But you can go one step further and just imagine it, sort of energetically create that with your imagination and your energy body. Number 3, know or practice knowing that this person is a fully capable and sovereign being. So this one touches back on not trying to fix or solve their issues. Each one of us came here for a journey of our own that is paramount to our own soul, body, mind, spirit, whatever. For how we get through this life, this journey is all our own. We can't do it for each other. We can't do it for our children. We can't do it for the person that we love. They have to do it for themselves. And so holding that space for them, holding the knowing for them, because when they're in the heat of the moment, they're confused, lost, hurting, it's harder for us to remember that in those moments. And so that's where this piece can become really powerful. And it's also a part of the holding space, is holding the knowing that they are able to do this, and they get to borrow a little bit of that energy in this moment. And it actually helps fuel them moving through the entire process. So the most important thing that we can do for each other in these moments is to trust ourselves and to trust them to navigate it. Love them exactly as they are, especially in this moment. Super powerful for them. And you are also practicing loving the deepest parts of yourself. Number 4, listen without interruption or validation. So what's validation? Validation looks like empathetic agreement. So if somebody is telling you about something that happened in their past, whether it was 5 minutes ago or 10 years ago, it is the part of you that empathizes with where they're at, and it's oh my gosh, I know exactly what you're talking about. This happened to me that was similar. Anything in that realm, which there's nothing wrong with empathizing and being in agreement with people. But in this setting, it actually feeds energy to the story that they are telling you. And we want to, instead of feeding that story, we want to be that space of neutrality and that reflection for them to see the story themselves. When we agree with or when we validate the experience that they're having, it actually keeps them inside the story and not viewing it as easily. And then listening without interruption, it's pretty obvious, but it can be really challenging to do. Again, it's just like the validating, the agreeing, the wanting to sort of create bonding through the experience that they're telling you about. But when we don't interrupt, we really give them the experience of letting all of it out. Often we tend to hold a lot of it in because we don't want to be too much. We don't want to take up too much space, take up too much time, things like that. So when we have the ability to give someone the gift of endless space, endless time, I promise you it won't take more than 30 minutes to an hour. So give yourself at least that much time with a person. But it's super, super important because it's really giving them the opportunity to get all the way down to the bottom of what's there. Number 5, at any point during the conversation, ask for support from the angelic realms. Could be specific angels that you work with, archangels, or it could be your higher self, your ancestors. You could call in the other person's ancestors or guides, and really just open yourself up to love through your energetic body and ask for support and guidance. And if you have any specific requests, like you're ready to close out the session, ask for support with that. Ask to, you could always ask to support the other person in getting to the bottom of whatever it is that they need to get to inside this conversation, or for clarity in how they move forward within this situation that they're in. But our guides are always ready and available for us to support us. They will not insert ourselves without our request. So just request that support. The other thing you can do is just ground inside of your own body. Take some deep breaths. Feel your body against whatever you're sitting on. Feel your feet and get back into your own body. And both of these things are totally possible to do while being in a space of listening for the other person. So try this out. So just to recap, first, you're going to set the intention to remain neutral in a space of love and acceptance. Number 2, you're going to place a mirror on the outside of your energetic body. Number 3, you are going to practice holding that this person is a fully capable and sovereign being, able to navigate this situation, this issue, whatever it is that they are going through. Number 4, listen without validation or interruption or agreement, any of that. And finally, number 5, ask for support from your ancestors, your higher self, the angelic realms, whatever it is that feels helpful and supportive to you. Holding space for someone is super powerful. And if you've ever had somebody hold space for you, you know firsthand what it provided for you. When we get to see the story that we're telling, we get to have an objective view of it. We also get to have a witness that is holding space for our greatness to shine through. Then that is really where the magic happens. When we get that reflection, we get to know the deepest parts of ourselves and love and acceptance for ourselves inside of this conversation. It is so juicy. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, feel free to hit the like button and subscribe. I will have more videos like this. In fact, I'd like to make a couple more that go into some different processes that are similar to this one that really help navigate through a process with someone. This is totally something that can be practiced, and in fact, I highly recommend practicing with some friends so that it becomes more natural and it's not something that you have to think about, but you can just do naturally for people when they come to you for support. So thank you again for sticking around, and I will see you soon.